Hello and welcome back to D-Vlog, and I've got a very special D-Vlog for you today. We have a returning guest. Shane Embury is here, and he's here to talk about his excellent new album. It's out on December the 12th. And yes, thank you for joining me today.
Hello, George. How you doing, mate? You good?
Not bad, not bad, mate. Now, I've got to start off with the fact that this album, just forget everything you know about Dark Sky Burial. This is a total like new sound. You got everything here from prog to post-punk to a bit of drum and bass. What prompted this shift up in sound?
Well, as nothing's ever simple with me, really. So, these tracks really, because this is on this album. It's with my friend Carl Stokes, who was originally the drummer for Cancer, death metal band. Me and him grew up in the same area. We've known each other since about 17 or 18. So during the pandemic, still, like no, say 2021, 2022. We decided we wanted to do. We were originally going to do like a split record, which is basically we played on both each sides really, but it was very similar in context, I suppose. And it just because Carl's been a bit ill over the past couple of years, and we just sort of sat there talking one day and thought, let's put it together. It's basically a Dark Sky album, really,
Mm,
as such. Because the whole thing, really, I suppose, with the experimentation or the creativity, whatever you want to call it, it's just there's nothing's off the book to try,
no,
which is sort of where I am. I have been for a few years, really. And yeah, so it was just we just try this, try that. Carl's also he was also a Jungian analyst, so he added quite a nice touch lyrically to it,
mm,
Um, Obviously, he went through his journey, his individuation, or is still in the process, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm sort of in my journey, so to speak. So at the time, especially during the pandemic, I was certainly in the madness, as we like to say
mm.
sometimes. And So it all kind of just went in there, to sort of fuel the creative pot, so to speak. Yeah.
Absolutely. And is that a theme that runs through the album, like lyrically?
Well, I mean, honestly speaking, and why not be honest, really? I mean, the life of if a musician can be, depending if you've got discipline, which of course I've never been great at, pandemic really sort of hit me in many ways, just sort of like, sort of struggling with alcohol and stuff like that, addiction,
Mm,
whatever you want to call it, on and off, really, I
mm,
guess, and you never like to sort of think in those terms, but that's what it was, basically, honestly.
mm. Yeah.
Um, and sort of, I think the pandemic for many people, I say I kind of look at it this way: being the musician, being whatever mask you put on or persona, whatever you want to call it. I certainly started to struggle with Shane Napalm Death versus Shane, the family man,
Yeah.
and also in the middle or whatever, what else I wanted to do creatively. And so it's lyrically, I mean, there's an interest on one of the tracks. I forget what the track's called now, of course, typically, but there's an Alan Watts sample
Yeah.
that Carl put in there, like a person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except thoughts. Um, so therefore can lose touch with reality and become lives in a world of illusion. And
Mm.
I tell you that only about 3 months ago, I said, Carl, that was about me, wasn't it? And he's like, yeah. I said, well, we did this in 2021, 22. Why don't you tell me? He's like, well, I can't tell you. You've got to find these things out yourself. And that's, I guess, with the title "The Sacred Neurotic." I mean, Jung and many psychologists or philosophers talk about how the so-called neurotic may be seeing the world in a much real and truer sense, and
Mm.
therefore, more sane than the possibly so-called sane. Um,
Absolutely.
so that's kind of like, yeah, there we go, really. Yeah.
That's incredible. I mean, on the first track that hits you is Sununus?
It's actually Canunos, actually.
Canunos. I'm terrible with pronunciations, but
Um,
I'm getting big Killing Joke vibes on that. And is that influenced at all by the work you've done with jazz? Like,
What's kind of interesting a little bit is again going out there as I do, but rhythmically it's sort of similar to something that because me, Jazz, and Igor Cavalera got together to do a
Yeah.
track, which we have still sort of been sitting on for a couple of years now. And again, was that just? Oh, I think when it opened up a bit during pandemic, but so there's similarities in some ways, but of course, being a huge Killing Joke fan really for
Mm,
years, and also Mickey from Napalm got me into him. I always like to try and throw my hat out to Mickey as much as
mm.
I can, even though sometimes he can be a bit oddball. But there we go. Um, and yeah, I mean, there is those elements, and it continues to be Killing Joke sort of
Mm,
atmospheres going on there. And again, that was for something. I've done a bunch of tracks, which I've still sitting on an album which I've yet to put out yet, which I'm not quite sure what I'm still doing with it. But that was a
mm,
track for that. But it was it was thematically Ganganos being the sort of the protector of the forest, the sort of guardian of the dead, so to
mm,
speak. And I think me and Carl talked about how mythically he could be similar to the god Pan. And if you look in sort of Jungian terms or archetypal terms, Pan can be that part of us that where it's like let's get one on, the party, the kind of
yes.
the Pied Piper sort of thing. And so it was kind of written from that perspective of like, how you're trying to like, how I've over the many years, you're on the straight and narrow, and you think you've got it sorted, and then there's a little demon on your side, says, well, how about try this, or
Mm,
it's okay, have a drink, you'll be okay. And of course you're
mm.
not if you have a problem with it, which I clearly do. Now it's the one drink leads to 20, so I'm like,
Absolutely.
it's no good. So that's kind of a bit in that mold, and the whole album thematically deals with those kind of, I guess, archetypal themes, really.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's a shared struggle with me as well. I'm one of those ones too many people. But I noticed in the back of that track, is there a female vocal there?
There
And
is indeed, there is indeed.
is that Catherine?
It's Catherine, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Catherine, yeah, yeah, yeah. She came down. And she's done some really amazing vocals on this other album, which again I still can't work out what to bloody call it. It's sort of like that's and so she did some great vocals, and because we were talking about not so much on that particular track, but other stuff as well, which will come out eventually, I guess. We love the Cocktail Twins and things like that, and she
Mm.
was because I think she's a really she's a great, she can do all kinds of stuff, Catherine.
Yeah, this is for our viewers. This is Catherine Sharples, also known as Kathika Rabbit, singer for Slamboree,
Yeah,
which is how I know her because obviously 601 and Slamboree have crossed paths many times,
yeah.
and yeah, it's just great to see her on there. She's also a vocal performer these days. She's on video games and all sorts. So
Well, that's brilliant. I mean, she's really talented. I feel, and because I first because Russ Russell, who produced some of the tracks, and he introduced me to her because she did vocal. We did a cover of the band Slab People Pie
mm,
with Napalm Death, and she managed to just there's a particular vocal bit in that, and she just went in there and like nailed it within like 10 minutes, all the different harmonies.
yeah.
She's really good.
Yeah, it's a great vocal, is that one. Then we go on to Smother, where also go back. You do the vocal on that first track, don't you, as well?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've been kind of sort of like dipping my toe in with Napalm here and there, and this. I mean, even though we're talking about this particular album, there's an old album where I've done all the vocals, which is yet to come out. But I've always kind of fancied myself lately. I guess if that's a wrong word, that's wrong. I don't mean that way. I don't know. It's really weird for me. Sort of, I've always loved Dead Can Dance and things like that, and when I was growing up, and yeah, my parents were into Sinatra and stuff like
Mm,
that. All that stuff seems to be like just coming through now at this age, and
mm.
I'm definitely an unashamed goth on the inside as well. I love my mission and my sisters and God knows what.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, trying to push the boat out into different territories, really.
I would say it seems to me like Dark Sky. I'm having similar things with my solo projects and stuff, where it's just like you get to a point where there's itches you have to scratch,
Yeah.
and you kind of put it off all your life because you're just like, oh no, I do this, and you have a role, and then all of a sudden, I think you just hit that sort of, oh, I can do anything I want, you know,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, it's well, that's just it. I think we can, and we should, and
Yeah.
especially if you love a lot of music, and I think we both
Mm.
love lots of music, and it's just yeah, that itch is there,
Mm.
and I mean, I'm starting at this point now. I'm starting to put some ideas together for the next Dark Sky album, which is veering in a slightly different direction again. But I mean, these are things I've been thinking about for a couple of 3 years because I can't stop thinking. My brain
Mm.
doesn't switch off. Um, but no, I mean, I just think anything's possible, and you should just. I mean, definitely now 58 last week, and I'm just like, I'm up for. Always have been really, but I just like to just have a go at anything that. Yes, I think the good thing about experimental stuff as well is you just get to meet some very interesting people, and they're up for collaborating, or even if it
Mm.
doesn't always happen, you can. I mean, I met Raldo Bonacci recently,
Mm.
and really lovely guy, and put me in touch with Polly End, and they were Napalm fans. And just all this, it just reminds me in a stranger way of like the tape trading days, this massive network scene.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's great.
Oh, it is. It's fantastic. So, Carl Stokes, who we've mentioned here, also he did some work with Current 93. Now, I've done a bit of a deep dive on Current 93. My goodness, there's a lot there.
Oh, there is. I mean, I came across Crew Night because back in the way back in about 87, 88, 89. I can't remember exactly when. We were me and the sort of metal fraternity. We were going to London a lot. We met up with a few people who were my friend Pete Giles, who was in Scout Block and a few other stuff. He has an occult bookstore now. But through him and his friends, we got into Crew 93. Nature Unveiled. It's probably my favorite album. It's probably the scariest record I've probably ever heard, I think, personally.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, me and Carl started off into metal. I saw Carl's one of his early bands when he was told, he looked older than me. We were the same age, but he had a leather drum kit. It was amazing, you know.
Wow.
And it was just like, and telling, we loved all the typical metal, but we veered off, and so did Carl, and also played for the Groundhogs,
Yeah.
which is one I think Jimmy Page's fave bands, I believe. But and so, but I think at some point he decided to sort of expand his musical kind of journey,
Mm.
and also right towards a few years ago, he also jumped into psychology and stuff like that. But it just seems that me and Carl, especially on the same
Mm.
sort of wavelength. He helped me a great deal a few years ago. Um, when I was starting to have sort of my well, I say mad's the wrong word, but my mental health issues, I suppose,
Yeah.
maybe call it. Um, and so yeah, but he's got a great voice. He's got a
Mm.
really nice, deep, sort of warm, gothy sort of voice. Yeah.
Very much so, and he leads the charge on quite a few of these tracks. Now, one of the things I really liked on this, and it was something, I mean, the thing that we've worked on is a whole different thing, but one thing I've always thought wouldn't it be great if he had a drum and bass track with their Shane's trademark bass on it? Because you
Mm.
do have a sound, you have that sort of like that Warwick clanky. It just sounds great, and you deliver it on this record on Possessed by the Animals. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, when that came on, I was punching the air. I was just like, "That's the track. That's it."
Yeah,
That,
well, I mean, I'm probably late to the party, but I'm obsessed with the breakcore beats. I love them.
yeah.
I tried programming a few, and I mean, it's sort of the own interpretation, but funny enough, the harmonica you hear it on that is by my at the time 2-year-old son, and,
Wow.
and I just kind of it's again you just do these things. I thought I'm going to throw that in there for the hell of it.
Yeah.
And it's and we were talking about the Aphex Twin and Square Pusher and stuff like that, and Carl was saying, Carl said, I can probably play some of those beats. So we played those drum beats.
Wow.
And we
That
kind of like, we kind of like spliced a bit here and there. And Russ did his magic as Russ always does, you
yeah.
know. And again, you sort of free forming up the bass. I mean, taking the best bits you can. But I like that track 'cause it's particularly manic,
Yeah.
and I'd like to do more of that. Really, to be fair.
Yeah, it really breaks up the record. It's a nice little avenue that you didn't think you were going to go in. Like then Thanatos Smiles, right, has a guitar solo at the end. Now, who plays that guitar solo?
Yeah, that's Russ Russell.
Russ played that.
Yeah,
I
because
was,
Russ, Russ in his earlier days, well, I mean, he still is now, but Mr. Psychedelic is Russ, he's
yeah,
like,
you could tell.
he loves that. And I think when we were doing the track, because, also what I like about, well, as being creative as you possibly can, I suppose, but you can do these tracks, as you know, and you revisit them over
Mm,
time and you build the, and for a while that was there for a bit and we couldn't work out what to do and didn't have any vocals on at one point, but I think initially when I, because the first part of it goes back to the early Dark Sky stuff, where it was more,
mm,
I suppose it was Coil, stroke Lucio Fulci, Italian horror movie kind of bizarreness,
yeah,
goblin stuff like that. And I like I like the idea of just doing some completely out of the blue and just coming in with this solo, which Russ does, because it's not, of course, it's Dark Sky Burial. So I mean, that's what I think. What I like about the album is it's just all over the place. You know.
mm. Well, that's it. It's truly experimental, but that's just straight up Tangerine Dream, that guitar solo.
I was busy. Yeah, Russ is brilliant, and he forgot he did it because he's been a bit ill as well. And so we got together, I think last year to master it and do some other bits and pieces because we've been working on a second Tronos album for years, me and Russ,
Mm.
and which we're getting there. But I said, right, could you let's work on the solo. But he was he totally forgot he did it, because I guess he's a busy man. But yeah, I like it. It kind of throws you for six.
Definitely, definitely. It's like there's all these little secret Easter eggs going through this record. It's incredible. Yeah, like you said, Russ has worked on this album now. It's well documented that Russ has been an absolute warrior recently. It's this. I know he worked on the Raging Speedhorn album, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then there's this. He's been like sort of picking his projects at the moment, hasn't he? And so
Yeah. I mean, cause he's been, God, he's been beyond. It's just two operations now. He's recovering from his second one. And he sent me a message the other day where I went to see him. Started to mix a new Absolute Power album and
oh
down
yeah.
at Cambridge, and then so I stopped off and saw him. Had a chat for a few hours, and we are talking about bits and bits. He's itching to get back into it, but he's got to take his time.
Mm, mm,
But he is getting a bit stronger. He's all there as regards that. He's just feeling a bit weak, I think, after the second operation.
absolute.
But he's trooping on beyond, and I mean, for multiple reasons. I mean, I want my friend to get healthy.
Mm,
But I think for him possibly. I mean, I don't know, but I think he'll slow it down to some degree and start being a bit more selective
mm,
because what can happen in the nature of being a producer or whatever, is you sort of you sort of get yourself busy, but you're not always these little things to come into play with your health or whatever. You overlook them because you're just constantly working all the time. I think, and that's where sometimes is this things like this for him,
mm,
for me, a few of my friends as well. We're just sort of like, well, how can we do what we love to do, but not sort of like go so full throttle because Russ and I certainly did go full throttle over the years, and a lot of fun to be had. But here we are,
mm,
But he's getting he's getting better, and I mean I'm looking forward to seeing him I'll probably see him in the new year. I mean, me and him have a his birthday was the day before mine, so when we used to go on tour together,
mm.
it was absolutely bonkers. So I'm and we want to finish this second Tronos album we've been working on, which is pretty. I do all the singing on that again, but some mad stuff on that as well, and just wanted to get a bit better and just take it easy, really.
Yeah. I've been looking into a lot the idea of music as therapy. Speaking as someone who, like, does definitely use my side projects for that. And I find it can be very healing. I mean, there is the side that you've just referred to where you just hyper focus and forget about the fact that you might be under the weather or whatever. But also, I know somebody who had a stroke, and I gave him an analog keyboard to play with, just a little mini, one of those little mini, just little twisty knobby
Yeah,
things,
yeah, yeah.
and yeah, it seems to help. And I think there's a lot to be said for music as therapy. Would you say that side projects take that role?
Well, I think is it going back to what we said about the itch to scratch for sure, but
Mm,
there's definitely times. And what I find, I mean, the past few years for me, just it helps a lot better. But you just have these, I don't, whatever it is, you get panic
mm,
attacks sometimes out of the blue.
mm,
What's going on there, or one day is brilliant, the next day, or you can, and you just feel. This morning I felt amazing,
mm,
so to speak, and then 2 hours later I feel a bit, oh, I don't know. It's just,
mm.
but I think maybe because I don't know, you get older, you analyze it more. Who knows what? But I had a lot of friends around me are not well, etc., and some real some. My friend Thomas passed away and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think that, of course, that totally affects you, but you don't. I don't know how. Of course, it affects you beyond, but you don't know if it's somehow got in there deep. But
Mm.
which it probably did. But of course, but I think a couple of times where I've been like a headache or feeling like shit, and I've just zoned off for 4 or 5 hours on my little droney vibe, which I like to
Mm.
do. I'll start a track or add a little bit here and there. I've got like libraries full of stuff which just sits there, and it helps me forget.
Yeah. Yeah.
It helps me. I go, oh, I got to feel right now.
Yeah.
And so that's. I think and there's not. It certainly is. I think it's definitely therapy, and I think
Mm.
a lot of scientists are investigating into that anyway. I believe the power of sound and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned drone actually, because I find drone to be very, very helpful. I had an operation early on this year, which is
Yeah.
a local anesthetic. And so you're awake for the whole thing. So I said, can I just put in some noise cancelling headphones? And I'll listen to Sun. And it was Pyroclast. And I tell you what, it was the most enjoyable operation ever. If
It,
you
it,
can
it,
have one.
well, right. Because I'm through after so many years of, I think God knows how many gigs I've done, but I've got this like thing at the back now, which is like it's sort of, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, and I'm like, well,
Mm,
obviously all the track. I mean, there's some gigs where I was doing 3 bands a night, but I went for an MRI recently,
mm.
and they're like, well, this is quite noisy. Do you want some headphones? I'm like, well, no, not really, but they put some headphones on anyway. And so I'm hearing these like periodic kind of like clangs. I'm sitting there going, this is interesting. And what if I create? I'm like, what if I created a track where there was like some sort of low drone, but periodically, really, um, I'm going, I'm going, I'm like, she goes, I bet that was a bit of a pain, but annoying those noises. I'm like, no, not at all. This is brilliant. I'd like to go back in again if you don't mind. But no, I think, yeah, there's a lot to it. It's weird where my friend Carl always said to me sometimes that we don't cover tracks or I don't cover pieces, which I couldn't really remember. And he felt like I went into this kind of weird shamanistic vibe almost, which at the time felt a bit. I felt really, but there's times where I can put on a track which I haven't worked on for a while, and it's not, it's not reinventing the wheel. It's just stuff I love. I love,
Mm,
Since hearing Coil, I've just been obsessed with like loops, and
mm.
so yeah, I put it on, and straight away I'm drifting. I'm off.
Yeah.
The trance comes, and I'm like, oh, this is, thank you very much, and feel, and generally feel 5-10 minutes later or even longer, a lot better than I did previously.
Well, I mean, Buddhists have been talking about the eternal vibration forever, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
we're tuning into that maybe. Is there? I know you made tentative steps into Dark Sky Burial, taking it live. You did the tour with the Melvins. You've done a few solo outings around the UK. Is there any plans to do any of that, or is that going to be dependent on health and things?
Well, I mean, health's generally okay as regards playing live and stuff.
Mm,
It's My issues on the last Melvin tour, honestly, which is, I mean, is was to do with two of the reoccurring demon alcohol,
Mm,
unfortunately, and probably too much time on my
mm,
hands. So that's something I'm sort of digesting right now. Really, I'm like, well, what's the deal? Because Napalm tours an awful lot,
yeah,
you know. And I think a couple of times I jumped back in the saddle, maybe too early. The ego was like, "Yep,
yeah,
You're Shane Napalm Death. Yep, you can do it." But then I know I'm away on tour and I miss my family. You know,
mm,
I'm no angel. I certainly am
mm,
not. And my wife has a lot to put up with for
mm,
sure. And probably it's just it is what it is, and the life is. And so, but this is really important to me. Obviously, it's my family. Um,
mm.
um, and it's I think if you have to pay attention to the songs. But I mean, I'm currently working on the new Napalm album music. I've got about 10, 11 new tracks for the next record.
Yeah,
But yeah, I want to do some dark sky stuff. I was thinking about teaming it up a little bit with a mini book tour because the company we're talking about doing an analog version, or they are doing an analog what do you call it? The oral audio version. Sorry.
oh yeah, yeah,
Um, So I think I might. I thought, well, maybe I could do that for like a 50 minutes hour, and then just end it with a 25, 30 minute experimental piece or something like that, or maybe like
mm,
track. Um, so yeah, I mean the shows on the Melbourne tour were great, really. I was really encouraged on the response because it's quite new. It's me singing, so to speak, and
mm,
so yeah, I mean, it's all there. But I found that since because I've been taking a break from touring the past few months, I've just found that I've been trying to do some training to get physically a bit more
mm,
fitter, which is good. It's been working. I just think that, but the days are just going by. It's like
mm,
it's almost because I'm catching up on being around with the family all the time, the kids, and it's
mm,
nothing. It's simple stuff, but it's just like, dear God, I mean. Not getting as much time to compose unless I go to Cambridge, the studio. So,
mm.
but share some live shows definitely. To that,
Yeah,
yeah,
awesome, awesome. It's funny, isn't it? How things pan out. It's like you were just saying how well received things were on the Melvins tour. Now I can associate with the idea of like when you put music out there, especially when stuff's like really close to your heart, like obviously Dark Sky Burial is. Um, and you roll the dice. I always say roll the dice because you do. You just go there you go and see what comes back. It's always kind of heartening when it comes back cool because you can get inside your producer's head and think, do I just like this because I did it? And then when you roll the dice, and then when people come back and say, "Actually, that was really cool," it's great, especially with the experimental stuff because that's the whole nature of experimental music is you are experimenting, and it's good when it comes back with the correct results. Yeah.
yeah. I mean I think there's multiple facets to it really because when you for being in grindcore, hardcore, whatever band you want to call it for so many years, even though Napalm can sometimes veer off from the course, it very rarely does.
Mm,
And then and that when experimental, it's almost the whole point of it is if like, well, okay, you may have a bit of a plan, you know,
mm,
but the wrong twist of a button or whatever could send it veering off, and then can you rescue it, or will anyone know? You'll know,
mm,
but can you almost ride it?
mm.
So that I find interesting because it's kind of scary and reminds me of the earlier shows where you didn't know what the hell you were doing, you know.
Yeah,
And you're like,
yeah.
oh, then the fear comes in, but it's a creative fear. And
Mm,
so, and then when people say that was really good, and even back in gigs, I mean, God, I remember our old manager, we'd play a show and we'd be moaning how crap it was, it'd be brilliant, and then vice versa, you
yeah,
know. So sometimes you almost have to go, well, fuck it.
yeah,
It's just like, as you say, roll the dice, and it is what it is.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. It would be remiss of me not to mention we've got an EP together coming out in the new year.
We have,
Uh, that's been lots of fun. That's been
yeah.
really, really good. So I'm basically just going to give a little plug there. So that'll be coming out on See Here Recordings. And yeah, yeah, looking forward to that and possibly more in the future.
Always, mate, always it. That's it's that it's that's what I like about this kind of thing. It's as simple as like, yeah, I'm up for that. Why not?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I got asked in an interview the other day, how did you get the collaborators for the 601? I said, these are musicians. Musicians are up to jam. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, yeah.
that's generally none of us are getting rich. Uh, but so how do you feel like the state of play is for the rest of your year then? What's that looking like? Obviously, you've got like all those tracks written from you and Napalm Death, which
Yeah.
I think might come as a surprise to our well, not if you're a Napalm Death fan, but you do write a lot of the Napalm stuff, don't you? Up front.
Yeah, pretty much. It was, when we became a four piece, it was musically me and Mitch Harris would sort of split the duties, and then we'd usually argue about who got the first track on the album. Mitch was always a bit more, yeah, vehement about it. I was like, hey, well, if it makes you happy, go for it. But and then when he kind of, it wasn't so much leave at first. He moved to the States, and then with Throws, I don't know. I didn't think about it. I just took it on, you know.
Mm,
But I liked it because me and Mitch, as much as we wrote great tracks together on, Mitch was, I mean, it's of course his opinion, but sometimes Mitch would veer a little bit different. I think to
mm,
where I was hoping to take it and where I think Barney's hoping to take it too. Um, and so Throws gave me the chance just to go, literally just me and Danny had jammed a few songs, but I just tried different things,
mm,
And I have right now. I'm at this point where I won't say I'm struggling a bit because the guys are so busy to talk, and that's cool. But I'm like, well, I've got these songs. Let's go in the studio, and
mm.
I think we really want to wait for Russ. Is the general thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do too. Occasionally, I get like frustrated. I want to just get it started, but then I have to go. Hold on a minute.
Mm,
It's like I've been recording a lot at Headline Music Studios in Cambridge, and Simon F. is more than capable.
mm.
And I don't know where that's going to go at the moment because you just don't know. He's got a crystal ball, but Russ has been our sort of extra member of the band for 20 years, you know,
Definitely.
and especially with me, he reads me really well. I mean, he knows what I'm about to say before I even say it.
Yeah.
And so on Throws It, we went in there and with Danny, we sort of crafted about 23 tracks,
Wow.
and Mitch came over to play some of the rhythms, but I played some of the guitars on the more noisier stuff because Mitch's forte really is that heavy, chunky stuff.
Mm.
And mine's usually put the fingers in the weird place and thrash it kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, lots of ideas. It's still to do. I need to get down to my little home studio and start recording. But really, what I want to do is like, go, let's just fucking get in there and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Um, I think that might become more of a reality when Russ is feeling a bit better. You know,
Yeah. Definitely.
I think some people. I mean, it's everyone thinks differently. I mean, Barnes certainly done as many albums as me to know that it'll be a fucking cracker. You know.
Mm.
But I think he's a bit like, I want to hear some stuff. I'm like, okay, I'll hear some stuff,
Mm.
but I want to get in there and let's just fucking do something that you're not even expecting, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're the gems. I mean, Immoral, for example, was like, a very simple track, but that there was no demo for that or anything. We just went in and I said, I hit this weird noise. Next thing you know, we sort of looped it a little bit and put a click track down. And I ended up playing drums on that because Danny had enough. He's like,
Mm.
stop throwing ideas at me. You're fucking driving me nuts. Um, so yeah, again, I've answered your question in a very long way. Sorry.
No, that's great. That's great. I mean, it's I, I I think it's great when we talk because it's a similar same of mind where there's always about 100 tracks occupying some space up here, but we managed to hold it all together and get them out, which is
Yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like. Do you think the brain has a filter on it, like where if something's not meant to be, we just filter it out and we eventually funnel down into the good bits?
I'd like to think so. I mean, there's certainly with it once I jumped into sort of doing more electronic stuff. There's still little bits I've found, and so a couple of bits I've had to go. No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, no. I'm not going to be able to make much out of you. I'd like to, but no. And but yeah, I mean, it's like trying to work towards. I mean, because I like to do albums in series of fours, and yeah, the next few Dark Sky albums are going to hopefully lean more towards a sort of Swans, Children of God kind of vibe.
Mm,
Especially the first one. And so I've had again. So you're upset. Yeah, you're
Mm,
obsessively spinning it around in your head.
mm,
Um, which is rather annoying sometimes. Your kid's birthday party, and you're thinking about some fucking loop, and you're meant to be interacting
yeah.
with dads who are talking about football. But anyway,
Yeah, I hear you.
so yeah, but I think we do have a filter. I think really.
Definitely. I've definitely found that, especially with Sky Burial, it's a similar phenomenon where it's that you find yourself going like, so am I this? Is this what I do? And then you have to stop yourself from doing that and say, I'll do whatever I want. So this might be my sound. I think your sound comes through just who you are. And I think all genres, all bets are off. And it'll end up sounding like you. Do you
Yeah,
think so?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so. I mean, I think it's easy for us to go, well, okay, well, this is this. But yeah, I mean, I've created a couple of project names, and I'm going, yeah, but and I'll start doing something for that. But yeah, but I can't. But Dark Sky is predominantly
Mm,
my thing, and then you'll fish it back, and you go,
mm,
needs to be here, and then you start because you think too much. You go, oh well, that'll be something else, and I think going back to the filter, these things probably will happen when they're
mm,
kind of probably when they're ready in a way.
mm,
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, we are, and I think if you're going towards a more artistic, creative, experimental sort of vibe, you just do whatever that makes you happy. And some people will get it, some people won't. So, people might be chuffed with your first few albums, and they might skip a few and come back. It's just kind of how it goes. I think. You know,
uh,
if you're prolific enough,
mm,
you can put. It's people come and go and stuff, and people just discover you.
mm,
I mean, yesterday, somebody from in the States, because you have that thing on Bandcamp where you can offer a 30% off for your entire discography, and
mm.
somebody bought every album. I was like, oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
You get that, and you go, oh, maybe I'm not that
The eternal question.
bad.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's been an absolute joy talking to you today, Shane.
Yeah, and you mate, of course.
And the album, The Sacred Neurotic, is out on December the 12th, which next week actually, isn't it?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and yeah, go get it. It's amazing. It really is. Thank you for talking to me today, Shane.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.